Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim. Gugabe, it's been a very, very long time since we've done one of these. We were on a streak for a while, but you just had to go and have a baby. So I blame everything on you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been pretty good. I was actually in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. Small world. Unfortunately, didn't manage to get down to join the Gugabe convention.
Oh, yeah? Did
I got
anyone there?
we're sponsoring, or my company is sponsoring the Craig Jones thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I went for that and the ADCC. It was good. Yeah, so it's awesome. Some MMA betting Twitter personalities around, and obviously it's working. And like we were backstage for Craig Jones. Like I was only backstage for the whole Andy Garcia, Craig Jones kiss thing. So it was a good event. Obviously it's hard to make jiu-jitsu and wrestling entertaining. Just objectively, it is hard. And I'm not sure if you watched the event, but it was 2/3 of the fight were fun, which is difficult in any sort of grappling martial arts.
Yeah. Let's try to mute whenever I'm talking, just because your mic's a little messed up. But how have you been doing from a betting perspective and everything? Have your fights been going? Because it's been a couple months, I feel, since we've done one of these.
Yeah, it took along pretty well. It's pretty back and forth. Again, it's been a big run of favourites. The juice is loose. The juice is very much loose. So not much to do in those circumstances, but it hasn't been too bad.
Yeah, I've been super hot. I've hit up some underdogs too. This is one of the hotter runs I've been on, so hopefully it continues. I think I've hit 21 of my last 23 bets, and I think 7 of them have been underdogs, so that's been pretty good. Lost on Tabora and lost on Algio against Zombie. That's kind of the last 2 I missed, but I've hit a lot, so hopefully it continues. But we won't recap anything. We'll just go straight into UFC Noche. It's at the Sphere. Have you been? I've actually been there before.
Yeah, I've been outside. I haven't been inside, but yeah, good spot. I'm curious to see how they do it for this. It should be fun.
Yeah, it's really, really. It's hard to explain to people what it's like inside, but it's a crazy experience for sure. It's super immersive. I feel like everyone's going to be watching the screen, at least at the event, if you're there, you would understand. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Sounds like the UFC is going all out on it. Of course, the MMA media is complaining about the card, but they'll be watching. But I don't know. There's only 10 fights, but there's a few good fights on here. I don't think it's and the main event's awesome. So I'm totally in for this card, and it'll be fun. A lot of Mexican fighters on it, but. Let's get into the main event. I'm really excited for this one. 2 guys I have just rolled on and just, I've been on their trains for a while. I've bet them so many times. O'Malley and Merab. You and I have been on Merab for a while. And, I remember playing O'Malley versus Sukumta and Terrion Ware even money years ago. And yeah, I've just been riding them all. And these guys, O'Malley historically, just statistically, is one of the best strikers in the sport ever. If you just look at his numbers, his head strike numbers are off the chart. Really, really good striker. I thought he looked really good against Cheeto. And Merab's the best volume wrestler we've ever seen, the best cardio we've ever seen. So it's pretty crazy seeing 2 guys who are the best in their areas fight each other. And I'm really excited for it. I have some opinions here, but I'll let you go first. How do you see the fight going? There's only 2 ways it can really go. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm surprised Merab's fading out so much. Obviously, we all know what the O'Malley win condition is. O'Malley just takes his head off inside over a small amount of time. And, Merab, there's the cut stuff and the staff rumors, which, makes sense. I don't get how, obviously, the under's not a liquid market really yet, but I don't get how the under 4.5 is still, plus money. And O'Malley is -4, is minus 130. O'Malley beating Merab by decision is possible, don't get me wrong, but you're talking about the greatest minute winner in the sport's history. And a guy with no defense. So an O'Malley decision would probably require 4 knockdowns, survive. It would be something insane most likely. Merab is not going to go away, and O'Malley is kind of fragile, just physically. Obviously O'Malley's good. Again, he's kind of had a weird career because like there's just such a massive gulf in the strength of schedule sometimes. Like Jan's still probably his best opponent by a massive margin, which was an absolute that went down to the absolute wire. Then everything else is kind of whatever. Like Cheeto, like everybody's been able to put out good numbers on Cheeto until he gets his magical moment of fight turning.
Yeah.
If Rob Font hadn't been hurt till the last 30 seconds of that fight, it would have looked the exact same in terms of numbers. Like I'm not saying that Mally is worse than Mally is like equivalent to Bob Font, but I'm just saying like people have always put up insane numbers on Marlon Vera until he gets his like big fight turning moment. And
I do think though O'Malley consistently like beat the crap out of him, like as far as like kept hurting him throughout a lot more than anyone.
Oh yeah, power wise, there's definitely you definitely hurt him more,
and he didn't slow down O'Malley. Like it was still like I picked O'Malley to win that fight. I played O'Malley the first fight at like minus 200 or something, and people were like, "You're wrong because he got hurt or whatever." And then I think in the long run, it proved that there's value on a 3-round fight on O'Malley at minus 200. But he definitely even exceeded my expectations against Cheeto in 5 rounds. I thought Cheeto could maybe give him issues late. I still thought O'Malley would probably skate to a decision, but he beat the fuck out of him. Like, let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, but with Marlon Vera, it's always about the pivot moment. Like, if Marlon hurts him before the last 20 seconds of the fight, the whole thing probably looks quite different. Like, again, remember Rob Font versus Marlon Vera? Like, Rob Font was absolutely jizzing on him for like 2.5 minutes and just never recovered kind of situation. Like, and obviously, like, O'Malley's like a lot better at striking, but like most decent bantamweights should be putting like massive margins on fresh Marlon Vera. Like, dude is like the most ridiculous like attribute cheat. Like, he's like historical attribute cheat.
Yeah,
and it feels like he's probably losing a bit of a step in that respect. But a good performance. But otherwise, like O'Malley, like there's the Aljo fight, which is kind of whatever. There's the Jan fight, which went out wire.
I think the Aljo fight was a little lucky. Like it wasn't lucky. I'm just like
I get what you mean.
He earned the knockout. Like I mean, he set up that shot. Like and he timed Aljo coming in, but I also feel like if Aljo just didn't rush in like that and kind of played a little more tepid, like Aljo took the first round striking in mostly striking in that fight. And I feel like if Aljo is a little smarter with his entries, I feel like Aljo could have cleaned house in that fight, but and I like I've been saying O'Malley could be champion for like 3 years, and I remember that used to not be a popular take. Like people used to give me shit and say he sucked, but now he's favored against Merab, and so I'm jumping ship here. Like I'm playing Merab and the plus money is just making it. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but like the plus money is making it even more like okay, simple. I mean, I think people are overthinking the fight. Like, is O'Malley going to win unless if he knocks him out? I don't think so at all. And could he knock him out? Of course, but I feel like people always do this thing where they like look at the one time Merab's been hurt or the 2 times he's been hurt in like a long career, and they only look at that. But like, Marlon Moraes clipped him, and he's been clipped a couple other times, but like he's never really been knocked out, and he fought Peter Yan, who's very dangerous for 5 rounds, and and was fine. And like O'Malley has good cardio, but he was fading against Yan because of the grappling pace. Like I also think O'Malley's got to get this done probably in the first couple rounds too, because I think he'll have nothing for him later, So it's like I want to play the guy at plus money who basically has to survive for 7 to 10 minutes, and then I think he'll just run him over, And Merab is also an underrated striker. Like people are acting like if he like O'Malley's better. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not, and he could knock Merab out, but people are acting if they like stand for 5 seconds, Merab's just going to get knocked out. And it's like Merab doubled up Peter Yan at distance, doubled him up like 126 to 60 or something like in that range. And I've always said Merab's an underrated striker. And like Merab at plus money is an absolute no brainer. I don't care about the outside noise, the staff, the cut. I don't give a shit. Like give me the guy who attempted 50 takedowns in a 5-round fight. I also think Merab finishing O'Malley late is very possible here because
I agree.
We've only seen him in one 5-round fight, and it was the greatest performance I've seen. Like literally, it was like one of the freakiest like performances I've ever seen against Peter Yan. And Peter Yan, like, is one of the most. He's very tough. He has like good cardio, and Merab was breaking him. Like I think Merab's going to finish a lot more people in 5 rounds, and I could see something like that happening. Like a tired O'Malley just getting overwhelmed. I still think Merab's going to win by decision, but Merab TKO plus 800. Like, I think there's value on that. But overall, I'm not gonna get cute with it. I'm just playing Merab plus money. I think it's a no-brainer. If he doesn't get knocked out, he should win.
Yeah, I agree. And then, Merab's striking's it's basic, but it works well for you. You have to deal with the wrestling threat, which is massive, which helps keep people honest. But the way he beat Dodson was pretty good. Like Dodson, he was just like, all right, Dodson's very hard to scramble with, so I'm just going to kick him in the leg and keep him working from space. He was quite intelligent about Dodson obviously work rate issues, but does hit very, very hard, and he feels like it. And he worked through that pretty well. I think Merab actually hits very hard as well. He doesn't really have much craft or ability to convert. He's bad at following up, but in terms of just pure Nagano units, I'm pretty sure Merab actually hits very hard. Some of the shit he's landed on people has just been him just throwing his entire body into them. It's Trevor Peake shit.
Yeah.
I think Merab is probably you can make an argument Merab is pretty much pound for pound number 1 or number 3. Just that attribute base is just absurd. It's very hard to consistently beat somebody who can do that. And O'Malley is good and he's been a good run, but plus money on Merab. Obviously, there are some clouds, but not huge ones. And again, we've all been in MMA long enough to know the things where a guy loses a leg and has AIDS and has no training camp, then rocks up and has his career best performance. That happens every 2 weeks. But I think Merab is a no-brainer. Merab is truly a special fight. It's just that Yan fight is probably the best performance in UFC history.
Yeah, and just honestly, before the Yan fight, I think it made sense that I had always been on Merab, but into that fight, I was like, this is probably Merab's toughest fight because Jan's very hard to out-grapple, and you just thought Yan would have to get the better of him on the feet, and Merab just fucking not only outstruck him, he got a lot of the wrestling going, and just seeing O'Malley getting dumped on his head a lot versus Merab, or against Yan and whatnot. Yan's a very underrated wrestler, but he's not Merab. Peter Yan went 6 of 13 in 3 rounds on takedowns against Sean O'Malley. Merab attempted, this is not a joke, 49 takedowns against Peter Yan. If Merab's not going to need 49 takedown attempts against O'Malley because O'Malley will get taken down and held down more. But the takedowns are going to come. O'Malley's got to knock him out. He's got to finish him, a knockout, sub, something, or else he's going to get drowned. I just feel like Merab is it's not like Merab's getting knocked out. He got hurt by Marlon Moraes, and that's pretty much it. We've seen O'Malley tagged against Peter Yan, he didn't get hurt, but there was a couple sequences where Yan buckled him, sure, Merab might get knocked out, but okay. I think the best way to describe this fight is if you bet Merab and he gets knocked out, you could just be whatever. It's never really happened. I understand O'Malley's more dangerous than all these other guys, but it's never really happened before. He looked fine versus Yan, who's a pretty big finishing threat. So I can live with myself, but if you bet O'Malley and he gets 50-43, you're going to be what was I doing?
Yeah, makes sense. I also think even if Malley can shut down the wrestling threat, I still think unless he's KOing Merab, it's just Malley is still kind of fragile in my opinion. So just I could see Merab just hitting the world's fucking snazziest strike. So I could just see something absurd happening because of Merab's pure work rate. Merab has outstruck some good guys. There's a lot more chance of Merab pulling something off and striking than there is of Malley pulling off something and grappling.
Yeah. Unless if Merab, I will say O'Malley is dangerous with some of his submission attempts. I don't think that part of his game has been seen all that much. Like he can do stuff like that. So like if he threatened with some subs, I wouldn't be shocked. But like as far as like positionally grappling with him, he's gonna get mauled. But
yeah, like all right.
I think O'Malley is actually a pretty good defensive wrestler. I've said that for a while, but this is a different animal. Like Cejudo and Peter Yan are way better defensive wrestlers than O'Malley. And Merab broke Cejudo, which was nuts to me. Like Cejudo was gassing in round 2. Like all these guys are like Yan was just lifeless after a couple rounds, which was just shocking, you know. And Yan pushed the pace on O'Malley, and I just feel like I just can't.
I'd much rather
not being value on this line. Like Merab could look at 90% here, you know.
Yeah, I'd much rather take the under than take a short O'Malley, put it that way. Like, for a price, you can actually get better price and inside distance. You can O'Malley money line at this point. It's just like...
Agreed.
O'Malley decision would require something insane, in my opinion. Like, unless he puts the fear of God into Merab, I just can't really see how he'd ever... Like, O'Malley decision would just be crazy.
Yeah, Merab, when he was like minus 150 to set 170, I could see how you're a little scared of the knockout threat and you just want to be like, whatever. But in the plus money now, I'm like, I have to. And I'm hoping, I haven't even pulled the trigger yet. I'll probably sprinkle some now because the plus 115 is pretty, like, that's a great line.
Yeah.
But it might get better. So I'm probably going to sprinkle a little bit and kind of see if there's more. But if I lose a bet by Rob getting knocked out basically for his first time, I can totally live with it, you know? And I think he has minus 800 upside here. I really do. And I love O'Malley.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many people I would pick O'Malley, or I would pick against O'Malley. Pretty much 2, Umar and Merab, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's just Merab. Yeah, and I'm excited for Merab Umar because I'd be maybe going the other way in that one. Grasso and Shevchenko rematch. We've seen it a lot. Honestly, I think it's Shevchenko or pass at the plus money right now, but I'm also not going to play the fight. I just don't feel like dealing with it, you know.
It's kind of
go on.
It's kind of a weird one because it feels like Shevchenko has won like 85% of the minutes in these two matchups, but Grasso just has this weird ability to get minutes, just get these big moments on there. Like, I think Grasso is good, don't get me wrong, but there's probably like 5 flyweight women who I'd take. Like, I don't think Grasso will be like a dominant champion. Like, I can't see her beating the Fioros. There's like a bunch of the current top 5 who in a 5-round will probably take over her. Like, I think we had her against Barber many years ago, and I'm pretty sure Barber beats her over 5, just because Barber's become a little bit better, and even the 3-round, like, Barber took her over hard in the 3rd round. But anyway, I digress.
There's a lot of girls that I think could beat Grasso, you know?
Yeah, over 5. But, yeah, like Fioro, Barber, Chuck on a good day. Like, I
have a hot take here, and, like, I would favor this person straight up over Grasso. People are probably going to make fun of me, but what's she going to do to her? Jasmine, I think.
Yeah, honestly.
5 rounds. Yeah, I think she just takes her down and mauls her. And like Jasmine is like, she's going to, like Natalia Silva, like girls with these like elite lateral movement and like takedown defense can make her look silly, like that happened. But like Grasso, Jasmine could beat Valentina too. You probably just out wrestle her, you know. Jasmine, you could beat like just. I think people forget like defensive wrestling of Grasso is not that good, and Jasmine is a really tenacious wrestler. But yeah, I'm on like the train of Grasso probably losing to a lot of girls. But in this fight, it's weird because I feel like Shevchenko is the better winner, and she outlanded her both times at distance. She's more likely to get takedowns. But the fact that she goes for head and arm throws and gives up her back like an idiot, and it's stung her twice, you know.
And she's 36 now, and she's also, it's like she's 36. She's the old woman here, and it's like, you know, it's weird because I feel like honestly watching both of the fights, I come away thinking Shevchenko should be like minus 200, minus 300 in those fights. And like Grasso just kind of kicked some crazy shit. Like I haven't historically been a big Shevchenko person, but like I don't know, just it's a weird matchup. Like, I still could see Shevchenko just making like 3 adjustments and then just absolutely whooping Grasso's ass. But also, it's like, she's 36. She's 36. She's kind of past her prime. She's had this issue with the same woman twice now, and it's just like it's a really weird series. It makes no sense how it just keeps getting trotted out. It just feels like shit. Even depleted, old, kind of slowing down shit should have all the tools to fuck Grasso up. But I don't know.
Yeah, but the problem is, like, Valentina, when she gets her back taken and stuff, we've seen her really susceptible there twice against Grasso. The first time she got subbed, the second time she got 10-8'd, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I think I think I scored the second fight with Shevchenko personally, but it was like very close to memory.
Was that like a 10-8 round in one of those rounds? Can people like?
There was.
I thought it was like a head. The first fight, she went for like a dumb throw, got her back taken. I think it subbed, and then I think she went for another dumb throw in the second.
I think she got wobbled last time. I think she might have got wobbled last time. I think personally, I didn't agree with that.
Yeah, I think Grasso knocked her down. I'd have to rewatch, but like basically what I see is like Shevchenko a little better at distance, but it's very competitive. Shevchenko takedown upside, but Shevchenko throws head and arms and can just fuck herself over. That's basically what I think of the fight.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I feel like
because of it.
Yeah, like optimal play game plan, I'd probably still favor Shevchenko, but she's just 36 years old. I just feel like physically, like Shevchenko is clearly not what she was historically. Like some of those earlier fights, like remember Shevchenko and Andrade, where Andrade tried doing like physical shit to Shevchenko, and Shevchenko was like, "No, that is not happening. Fuck off." Like, yeah, that was insane because like very few people have ever shut down Andrade physically like that.
Yeah,
but like then it just feels like ever since he's just kind of been like, I don't know, she's clearly getting old, and like, Shevchenko gun to my head, and probably plus one he keeps running, like plus 150 or something. I definitely pull the trigger because I just think Grasso is not that good. But I guess it's just the kind of absurd fight to me.
Yeah. Ortega Lopez. What do you think?
I've got weird feelings. I took Ige quite big on the Lopez short notice fight. And, like, obviously the round 3 there for Lopez was very concerning. But I actually liked how, like, I assume Lopez came into the Ige fight with the same game plan he was going to do to Ortega, just because obviously, short notice and whatnot. And I think that actually would work pretty well against Ortega. Like, Lopez was sort of doing this sort of outside kicky thing. He was keeping the tempo very low. He was loading. He was stopping sort of exchanges, lengthening kind of thing. And I think against Ortega, you can kind of do that. And I feel like Lopez is going to win win a rerun of the Ige fight where it's like a very stinky 29-28. Like, obviously, Ortega has more grappling upside than Ige in round 3, but also I think I trust Ige's durability and tenacity more than I do 2024 Ortega's.
Yeah. Like,
Ige is just absurd. Ige just has absurd chin and absurd like pay, and he can just push. And like, obviously, round 3 was ugly.
In the sport.
Yeah, potentially ever. It's like Ige is just ridiculously durable, and it's just like Ortega historically has been, but like he broke his arm randomly against Yair, and like I just feel like Ortega might be slowing down a bit, and I'm not joining. I don't want to bet Lopez minus 180, but I just feel like the game plan he just did against Ige will probably be fine against Ortega. Like he'll probably win 2 rounds in space, and then just have a bad round 3 and probably win the decision. Like I just feel like Ortega is just like, how old is Ortega? I just don't have confidence in Ortega still having
like 36 or something. Let me look.
No, he's only 33. Oh, he's not old.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, he's kind of injured and whatnot. No, I just feel like Lopez is going to win by a somewhat stinky 29-28 if he does the same things he did to Ige. How do you feel?
I don't really have strong opinions on the fight. I picked Lopez to win, but I don't really care. I feel like it's also
I agree.
Fight. I could see both guys kind of like maybe hurting each other or something, but they're both really, really tough guys. Who knows if someone could sub one another when you get like, you always know these guys have the submission grappling advantage over everyone. Like generally, like they're generally not going to get subbed by a lot of guys, and they can sub most, but you never really know when like 2 guys go up against each other, how it will look. I will say Ortega on top is really good. He's underrated on top, like because I'd seen some of his fights in his early career where he did that. And like I know Yair sucks on the map, but Ortega just like moves and transitions really well from top position. So if he got on top of Lopez, I feel like he could give him issues, you know? I've never been high on Ortega, and I'm still not completely sold on Lopez either, and I don't love his gas tank all that much either. And Ortega does come hard for 15 minutes, you know? Like, he'll fight hard. I think it's honestly probably a dogger pass, but I did pick Lopez to win, but it's a pretty sloppy fight. Should be fun. And that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it'll be fun, but I don't have faith in Ortega at this age. And also, I think this live bet wise, you'd probably be able to grab Ortega plus 300 after a round with 5 minutes of information. Like, I think Lopez wins the first round just off speed, like very consistently. So, whatever. Over's a little bit tempting, but again, like they're both kind of spazzes, so you never know.
Cool. And then what do you think of Zellhuber, Ribovics?
I'm surprised Ribovics is such a big dog. Like, I've never been a huge Ribovics person. I think Zellhuber mixes the martials better, but I think Zellhuber has better takedown defense and is like more like practical kind of a thing. But I think like in a pure striking match, I don't think Zellhuber's hitting takedowns. I think Ribovics like starts faster, probably a bit more powerful. I don't see why it's plus 210. Like, I think it'll just be a competitive striking match where it's like, I think Ribovics has like big issues with takedown defense and control and whatnot, but I just like Zellhuber's not going to do that. So as such, I'd be happy to just take Ribovics in terms of just like, all right, I'll probably get bomb, and I think Ribovics is a bit faster and starts harder. And they're both pretty good cardio, so I just don't see where Zellhuber is supposed to separate to minus 250. Like, where is he? Unless he like hits takedowns, which all right, Ribovics can't grapple, but it's not really something he's ever done.
Yeah, I think it's another probable dogger pass. Like, I'm not playing these ones though, but just seeing Zellhuber have some like dud striking performances too. Like Trey Ogden outlanded him at distance, and Ribovics like isn't really all that tested, but he's put up some good like numbers on the feet against his competition so far. But he hasn't fought really a striker yet, So it'd be kind of interesting to see how he does against Zellhuber, because like Kirk was a little more grappling dependent. Lloyd was too, and he put up good numbers against them. Zellhuber doesn't really go for takedowns all that often, so they'll probably just like strike a little more. But Zellhuber was losing to Prado early, and Prado just kind of like ran out of ideas.
His face fell off.
Yeah,
his face fell off, which is a big issue.
I don't think Prado's like as talented of a striker as Ribovics either.
I think Prado's good. I think Prado's like a god. Yeah, Prado has insane attributes, but he doesn't have many ideas. And like his eye almost fell off after like first round, didn't it? Like his face was coming off.
Yeah, like just seeing Ogden outland him 71-52, and like I can't take you at minus 250 because like honestly, like this is the best striker Ribovics has faced. But honestly, I would probably say this is like one of the better strikers Zellhuber has potentially faced too. Like Ribovics probably out. He'd probably gas pedal Giagos. He's probably better than Prado. Can outstrike Prado. Better striker than Ogden.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I will say like also though it is going to be like a very pro Mexican crowd. So a lot of these Mexican fighters are going to get a lot of love. And that matters. Like it just does, When I was at that St. Louis card, like all the St. Louis guys are getting all the love from the crowd, and it was affecting some of the judging. Anyway,
are you saying that Woodson might have robbed Alex Caceres?
I thought it was like a really close fight, but
it was.
I didn't think like there were like I think there was like a 30. I don't think Woodson getting the decision is like insane, but I agree.
It was close. Like some people on Twitter acted like it was the worst ever. I was like, no, it was it was just high volume striking.
And Woodson did outland him like 101-82. Like so he did outland him. He outlanded him in 2 of the 3 rounds, and 2 of the 3 rounds, and then 1 round Caceres outlanded him. So I mean it was very, very, very competitive, but like a 30-27 for Woodson, I was like, seemed a little like pro crowd influence,
Yeah.
But all right, I don't feel like talking about the Osborne fight. What do you think about? What do you think about Aldana Dumont?
I fucking hate both these women. Every time I've tried the fade either of these women, they just pulls like I had a Rosa a plus 170 in that last fight with Aldana, and that was like one of the most upsetting like fucking comebacks ever. Like Rosa was like minus 400 after round one due to leg kicks, and Aldana, who's historically been like kind of gassy and like kind of prone to fading out fights, just decides to go full fucking like
Yeah.
good on her for digging that deep, but like come on, like that woman was not there on time. And still like. Even with all that, it still came down to the wire. Like that just annoyed me. And Dumont, same shit. I feel like my record of Dumont historically has just been I've lost so many stupid 29-28s against her, where it's just like you have a woman does something like doesn't remember they can grapple until round three, and then just finally does it, and it's like, oh, I won round three dominantly, but I've already dropped round two by the time round one and two, but it's the smallest margins. Like these women just. I just like them. Like again, gun to my head, I think Dumont is more like to get on top, but I think this is just a fucking like this is a stupid fight. Again, like whichever side I bet in this fight will inevitably somehow lose 29-28. And like if I pay, like it's going to be something annoying, like Aldana just like gassing after like 4 minutes after that last fight. It's just going to be like something absurd.
Yeah, it's a classic like volume, no, not great defense in Aldana, and then no volume, but really good, like good defense in Dumont. It's kind of like neutralizer versus like output type of fighter, classic. I tend to think Dumont's like a lot better defensively, so I kind of like think she's going to get off to an early lead for a bit, you know. And I do think she has takedown upside, so I ultimately picked her to win because Aldana, when she gets taken down, like you know, remember what like Holm did to her? She would just take her down and kind of hold her down for it. Like I feel like Dumont could mix in takedowns, and I think she's much better defensively. So I picked her to win, but Dumont just doesn't pull away enough. That's an issue with her. The career high in significant strikes is 94, and then after that, she's landing like 35, 47, 52, 65, 68. I just don't like that offense. Like she's landing more than her opponents, but I still – that's just like made to make the fight. It's made to make fights closer than they should be. So I ended up picking Dumont, but like I don't know if she has like a ton of I don't know if she'll pull away. I just don't think she can pull away at speed, you know, because she doesn't have enough volume. But I've been lower on Aldana than like most people, and that Rosa performance, like the last two rounds, kind of surprised me how she just went for it.
Yeah.
And like
that was absurd.
Zod, I'm like, Rosa should probably be able to beat Aldana. But anyway, like I think it's gonna be a competitive fight, but I do think Dumont can mix in takedowns, and I think she's better defensively, so I picked her. But Aldana can throw, she'll have the crowd on her side. She can probably keep rounds very close. Some enthusiasm.
Yeah, like I still have no idea what the fuck that Aldana round 2 and 3 against Rosa. Like again, like I took Rosa plus 170. Like I probably had like 3 because I was just like, this price is insane. Just get kicked in the leg, and then like 5 minutes she did. Like for 5 minutes she looked like a minus 500 favorite, and just Aldana decides to summon the Mexican war spirits or something. It was fucking absurd. Like
yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, credit to where go. Baha. He has no defense, so I think he fucks Torres after 5 minutes, but I think Torres is going to land something absolutely absurd on him in the first 5 minutes. Like Baha's weird because like I can see what like there are good attributes there because like he's huge and he hits like an insane pace, but the issue is he has no defense. So like if people give him space to do his thing, he's like very effective. But I think Torres is just going to walk. He's just going to sprint at him screaming and force like a very retarded early exchange or two, and like if Torres doesn't finish him, he's probably fucked just because Baha's cardio is like Baha's pace for a guy that big is insane. Like he's quite, he just throws like infinity volume, but he has no defense against Manuel Torres, which is probably not a great thing. What's your take?
I mean, sure, like Torres could hammer him early, but it's like one, it is a great live betting spot for Bahamondes because if he survives round 1, he wins, you know? It's tough because I don't really know, like, can Torres fight an extended fight? I don't know, but all I know is, like, he's been hurt a couple times in fights. Like, do you remember Duncan, like, hurt him right away?
Yeah.
Bahamondes, he's never been knocked out. Like, he might end up just being more durable. And like,
yeah, but he gets hurt badly. Like, he's been hurt a bunch. Like, he doesn't get knocked out.
Yeah, I've seen him hurt a little bit, but like he's so much more proven over the duration. Like, I don't know for sure. Like, maybe Torres just shows he could fight like that for 15 minutes, but those round one, like, no fighter has sustained round one finishes, like forever, and someone's gonna stop them. And it's like Colton England, Camacho, Nicholas Mota, okay, whatever. Chris Duncan, that was a weird sequence too. Like, Duncan hurt him, and then it was like a retard takedown that Torres got, and then he just like subbed him. It was really weird.
Yeah,
I think Bahamondes is a side, man. Like,
yeah, I agree. Like, I think Bahamondes a pass because, like, Bahamondes is probably more likely to just hit something around one than Torres is to keep up with him down the stretch. But I just feel like my gut feel on this is that Torres is going to just run at him and do something crazy because Bahamondes has no early defense. Like, I think like live betting after round one, it's like free money.
Yeah, that's the other way to do it. I still think pre-Bahamondes is the side, but I do agree live betting is probably more optimal. But the thing is, I'm just not so sure Torres is just gonna like Bahamondes might finish him as often in round one. I don't know that for sure, but I'm seeing Torres get hurt, and Bahamondes is the best striker Torres has fought by a pretty wide margin. And I haven't seen Torres in extended striking exchanges, and he hulked a couple guys early. I think Mota tagged him too early, I don't know. I just have to see more of this guy, but I know Bahamondes is tough over the duration, and he lost to Ludovic Klein, but Ludovic Klein is a good fighter, so it's whatever. I think it's wide betting Bahamondes, or you can play him pre if you want. A little dangerous, but I think Bahamondes is side.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could definitely get his head taken off. But what else? Right, Rosas Jr. I think that could be more fun than people give it credit for. Obviously Rosas could sub him instantly, but I think Aori's cardio and get up's not that bad. Aori managed to keep Durden off. And, is Rosas that much better than Durden?
Yeah, you could maybe make it interesting, but there's a pretty big grappling and back taking threat.
Yeah, but minus 800.
But I still think if you like Aori, probably better to go live betting because he's probably getting subbed early if he loses, and he's probably going to lose round one at a pretty high clip just because Rosas is good early,
Yeah, true. Again, it was unfortunate he got robbed of his sure win against Daniel Marcos last time. He was absolutely steaming away.
I was on Marcos at an early line there, and he was just dominating. Oh my gosh! Don't want to talk about it. I also got screwed Piera Rodriguez against Carnelossi. Piera Rodriguez was minus 180, and then she ended up being minus 900, and then Carnelossi just wasn't even hurt, and just completely quit. And she was laughing while doing it. She smiled at her corner at one point.
What was your take on Nelson on the weekend? That seemed absurd that it wasn't reviewed at all. He had a massive bruise on the no area, and people were "Oh, it seems fine. I'm not going to look at that."
I think I saw some chatter on Twitter about it. I didn't really notice anything live, so I would have to go back and watch. So I don't really know.
He had this huge look at my Twitter. It's one of the most recent photos. There was a huge hematoma on the back of his head. It's there is no plausible way that this hematoma has occurred without an illegal strike.
It's weird though. In frantic.
I'm not saying that Garcia thing. Come on, if you've got a big hematoma on the illegal area, if somebody had a ruptured testicle or something, you probably got to look for the groin strike in there. Come on. It's at a certain point, just come on. There was clearly been something illegal that's going on there.
All right, one fight I want to talk about on another card that's coming up in a while. What do you think of Holloway Topuria?
It's kind of weird. So I think Holloway is slowing down a bit, but again, plus 175 Holloway seems absurd. Like Topuria is weird. I think Topuria is good, but I just can't really see it the same way that other people seem to have the. Because it's just hard. Because it's like there's the Emmett fight, which is great, and even then he still took his smacks, and a lot of the rest of them are just kind of very whatever. Even him beating Volkanovski, it just felt like he caught Volkanovski, and Volkanovski was kind of putting it together. It's like out hustling him a lot. Again, like I'm very skeptical. Topuria is minus 200 unless he's knocking Holloway out, just because Holloway is pace god, and Topuria just can't really do that. Maybe he's the man to finally knock Holloway out, but if he's not, I just think plus 170 Holloway is just you kind of gotta you're getting like one of the best featherweights ever to do it, and I don't think Topuria is really designed to take advantage of his holes the same way that Volkanovski was.
Yeah.
Like apart from like prime Volkanovski, who's ever covered minus 200 against Holloway?
No one. And
yeah,
I agree.
And even then, like one of Volkanovski, probably the first two Volkanovski fights were still like probably weren't within that range. But probably like Volkanovski looked like a favorite, like a gigantic one. Like it's just obviously the concern is that Holloway's getting old, and it could just eventually this could just be the time he finally goes down. But
yeah.
If he's not, plus 175, and you probably enter live after around for like plus 300. Yeah. How wrong can you be?
Yeah, we have similar opinions. Like, I'm not like Topuria might knock him out, but like
it's hard. Knocking out Max Holloway is hard.
It's very rare. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So it's kind of like okay, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of leaning in the same direction as you. It's interesting, but I think Topuria is very good. It's just I'm very high on Holloway too. The Holloway Gaethje one was hilarious because I've just always been high on Holloway, and I've always been not high on Gaethje. I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? And then that worked out very well. But like Topuria, I like Topuria. Like he's a good fighter, but when you have A+ durability like Holloway, and then you have all that output,
insane pace.
It's just I want plus 180 on a 5-rounder every time. And like I said, if Topuria knocks him out, I can live with myself. Because it's never happened before, and kind of like if O'Malley knocks Merab out, I can live with myself too. But all right, we'll end it on that. But that we'll be talking about that fight more. And I'm not even saying I'm picking Holloway outright. I'm just saying that line is interesting,
it's crazy.
Yeah. But all right, that's everything. Thanks everyone for joining. I think going forward, it's hard to get me and Gugabe on here. Gugabe, I think on pay-per-views, I'm going to bring you in here. And then on fight nights, I'm just going to mostly do it myself because we're too busy to get on our schedule every week, And I think doing pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I think that, do you agree with that? Because I know you're busy. I'm really busy too.
Yeah, it makes sense. Next pay-per-view is a bit shit, so I'm okay, but
I think pay-per-views I'll bring you in, and then I think other than that, I'll probably just do some, fight nights on my own. I'm so busy with work, it's hard to get on your schedule, and I know you're busy as well. So that's all.
God bless. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody.